To unpack the story further, I'm now joined by Saccawu Deputy President, Mr. Mike Dow, joining me this evening. And thank you so much, sir, for your time. Good evening to you. I suppose let's first start with some reaction. I mean, of course, Massmart coming out and saying that there isn't really much in terms of the strike action. As a matter of fact, they say there's a lot of resignations that they have witnessed or seen due to the strike action. And since, of course, it was first announced, there's evidence for them to believe that this strike action will not be effective. It's not effective. What's your reaction, sir?
Good afternoon and good afternoon to the viewers. We know how Brian Lerone can peddle lies and propaganda that does not exist. We were taken aback by him on the very first day of the strike, deciding to say there have been no impact of the strike while the strike just started this morning. We don't know where did he assess, and perhaps maybe he's fooled by the fact that where majority of stores are based, in particular your KZN, Western Cape, Gauteng, and your Limpopo, we are converging in one places to march. The only stores that might have not been affected are those stores that we gathered in Tshwane and others gathered in central of eThekwini and central of Cape Town to march. There are stores in Mpumalanga, it's only one store. What the information that we got is that the store was struggling even to operate today. And we know that the propaganda of Walmart is always to confuse our members. We heard that Lerone is claiming that we've got 1,200 members that have resigned from the union, but we are surprised because we have not received any recognition. Maybe Brian is coming from a country where there are no laws. The first thing is that if somebody wants to resign, they must at least give us 90 days and send a recognition to us. Up to so far, we haven't received a single recognition ever since the strike started, and he's forever saying there are about 1,200 members that have resigned, of which is the blunt lie. We have never come across to those who have resigned.
And that's quite telling and surprising because Massmart, I mean, it says it conducted research. It conducted research, evidence-based research on the strike and found little to no support for the strike amongst union members. You, of course, saying that that is absolutely not true. But another thing, Mr. Dow, they seem to be discrediting is the union's demand for the 12% increase and 20% commission on sales, saying that this demand is both unrealistic and it contradicts the fact that you have accepted offers from both game and builder stores as well.
For over the years, as the organized labor, especially in the private sector, we've been advocating for centralized bargaining and precisely to avert what Lerone is saying. We've been advocating for centralized bargaining, and the employers are the ones where they've been refusing to be part of the centralized bargaining. It's most unfortunate that he doesn't tell the truth, that in 2018, when they served us with Section 189, they told us that game is not performing well. Some of our wholesalers are not performing well. Dion Wyatt is not performing well, and they closed 22 of Dion Wyatt. And recently, in August in 2019, they got an offer from ShopRite Checkers to buy one of their 143 stores. And they, in that Section 189, they were saying they will absorb all those who might be affected in the macro stores because macro is doing very well. And had they told us by then that we should engage each other on negotiations at the central level, we could have done that. But most unfortunately is that they didn't do that. And when we did our own research, like he's claiming that he has done research, we have found out that in actual fact, macro has been doing well for so many years, and macro is been performing and beating all other subsidiary companies of Massmart. Brian Leroni is just peddling lies because he's working for an international company that gives him mandate just to throttle the neck of the union because they are union bashers in any event.
I understand that you'll be embarking on a 10-day nationwide boycott. 10 days is the number of days you've allocated for the strike. This, of course, to compel the retailer to meet your demands. But on the other hand, Massmart saying that they have deployed outsourced staff to those stores that may be affected. Are you at all worried and concerned that your strike action might be counterproductive? That on one hand, you're saying to your members that do not go to work so that we can almost put pressure on management and the retailer, but they're saying, listen, we might not feel that pressure because we've got a second plan, an alternative, and that's to outsource.
The very first thing that they demonstrate that they are worried is to, on the very first day, make some statement that the strike is weak. And the very same thing that they have done is that they have issued some letters on the very same day when we served them with 48 hours notice that those who want to get the 4.25% should then resign from the union. And most of the time after we have strike, they calculate the losses and they saying to us they are going to sue us because they have lost. We are of the view that whether they have brought scrap laborers or they have brought outsource, they have brought problems to themselves because all our members are experienced workers that have been working for this company for over 10 years to 30 years. And they know how to handle customers. And Brian Leroni and others are sitting in posh offices in Sunning Hill. They are not based in the stores. If you can speak to one general manager of any other store, will tell you that they would prefer to have their customers serviced by their own permanent staff that are working for the company because the outsource, they don't know much. You go to a group of groups of agents, and they supply with cashiers, and they supply with gondola fillers, shelf packers, you name them, that are not well trained in terms of traditions and norms and policies of the company. Most of the time after the strike, they count losses, and those losses will be attributed to staff that doesn't have an experience.
With that being said, I want to get into the demands that you're making. I understand initially you had demanded 12% increase, Mr. Mothotoane, and please correct me if my figures may be miscalculated. That equated to an additional 900 rand, right? But I understand that the workers were calling for at least a 6.5% increase. Yes, sir.
No. Our initial demand was 12% or 900 rands, whichever works out the greater. Which means if 12% is less than 900, you will be then given 900. If 12% is more than 900, with 1 rand, you will receive 901 rands. Right. That is exactly what we want. But
you still stand by that. You still want that. That's still your demand.
No. Let me just take you back a little bit. When we put this demand, the procedure is that when you declare a dispute, you declare a dispute based on what was the last discussions. If the last discussion was 9%, 12% or 900 rands, whichever is the greater, we cannot go and tell CCMA that it's 9%, it's not 9%, but at the same time it's 9%. The CCMA must be clear as exactly where the dispute is. And at that time we declared dispute, we're at 12% or 900, whichever works out the greater. The company was at 4.25, of 410 with a condition that some 295 of our members that deemed to be managers or junior managers must not benefit, and we couldn't agree on that. When we met for the first time in CCMA, we put a proposal to the company that we will settle anything between 8 and 7% or 800 rands, whichever works out the greater. The company then requested us to give them another week to go and consult their principals. Indeed, we gave them a week. They went and consulted, and coming back, they never put anything on the table. Even if when we are telling them that we've got an area of settlement, they couldn't budge and look at the area of settlement. The last time when we gave them, which was the mandate that we were given by members, was that if the company can settle at 6.5% or 650, whichever is work out the greater, workers will gladly accept that. We went there after 2 meetings. The company kept on saying 4.25% or 410, and with that condition of excluding certain of our members from the bargaining unit. It's not us who is refusing to move. We have made some moves, and when we put and we publish the dispute, we can't say we are at 6.5%, because it's what the company never want to listen to. When we write for legal purposes, our dispute started at 12% or 900 rands, whichever works out the greater.
In my last question to you, before I let you go, Mr. Tau, when you obviously explain to Massmart that the reason for this demand, this wage increase, the reason to take it to an extent of having a 10-day strike is because of the rising cost of living. I think everyone across the board feels it, even more so those earning so little that they are also asking still for the bare minimum, which could be, up to 650 rand, for example. When you explain that to them, that is the reason why you are asking for this increase, what is their response? I mean, what is their response to you when you explain that your workers are struggling with the cost of living?
The question that you are asking us is the question that perhaps you must ask them, because we have motivated the reasons over and over and over again. They have just closed their ears. They don't want to listen. No matter how we motivate, we even at some stage proposed what is called a high level of leadership of both organizations. Unfortunately, Massmart, they decided not to bring their senior people. They just brought junior people, and some of us, we had to cancel all our commitment, organizational commitment on that day, only to meet with juniors. And they keep on saying they're going to seek mandate, and every time they come back with zero, like they've been coming back with zero at the present moment. Mind you, if I'm not going to eat on your time, you must understand that as with things stand, Massmart is no longer owned by anybody in South Africa. It's now, from the 1st of November, it's now owned by Walmart 100%. And Walmart, we told them in 2011, we told the government in 2011 that it will be difficult for us to accept that Walmart must come and invest here, because we know through our sister unions in Canada and in America how monsters, how they are union bashers. They want a free union environment. And it doesn't, we are not surprised. We are not caught by surprise that Massmart is behaving, Macro is behaving like this. We are not caught by surprise, because we know it's exactly what they're doing. We're just looking at their stats now, that for every new 2 employees that are employed, 5 is dismissed in America by the same Massmart. Right now, just our members practicing their rights, exercising their rights. about 400 members have been dismissed because they were told that they misbehaved during some action that took place last year and early this year, and without them being properly represented. They
Right.
were just suspended, and they were asked to state why they cannot be dismissed. That is why today we are having some matters of dismissal that we have filed with the CCMA.
And we'll continue to, of course, follow through with you, Mr. Mike Dow and Saccawu. Thank you so much for joining us, having this lengthy discussion about what actually is happening behind the scenes. Saccawu Deputy President Mike Dow, of course, narrating that negotiations haven't been a smooth running with Massmart, Macro, Brand, Leroni, definitely saying that they have conducted research to believe that the strike is not effective. But, of course, Mr. Mike Dow is saying that that is simply lies because the strike just started. Where could they have possibly taken that data from? We'll continue to update you on the very latest coming from Saccawu and Massmart.